I think it's because there just isn't a book like this for the Adventist experience. Not one that does this, right? There are books on Adventist theology, for sure. Books about doctrine, massive scholarly reflections. There's a mountain of apologetics, of course. There are also books more specifically about Ellen White, some defending her, contextualizing her in her time, some that talk about her writing assistance, plagiarism, her head injury. There are books about questioning belief or being afraid to question belief. But what I wanted to write was a book about the consequences of not questioning it. Like the sacrifices, the anxieties of that balancing act of being absolutely certain while constantly adding more fine print disclaimers to that certainty. I wanted to express what it feels like to be inside of something, not as a takedown of it, but as a deeply familiar story. This tension of knowing that what you know is true because of who told you it was. And I think that's a much more common story than we would like to admit in our spiritual walks. And I've learned in creating this altered thoughts persona on TikTok that a lot of high demand religions create similar questions and produce similar anxieties. There are people across all kinds of traditions that are out there trying to find language for their weird balancing act of complete certainty while, again, adding those fine print disclaimers. Many of us are looking for language around that, trying to put words to it. And there are a lot of great books out there already. I've got a whole shelf of all-stars in my living room, right? Pete Enns, Rachel Held Evans, Richard Rohr, Rob Bell, my good friend Jonathan Martin. Even with all of their wisdom, there would always come this point where Adventism, my experience, still felt different, like it was operating on its own frequency. And of course, that is part of the indoctrination itself. You're supposed to feel that in these systems. But the weird thing is, the more I tried to give language to my Adventist experience, the more I heard from people who've never even heard of Adventism that could feel what I was expressing. Because honestly, Adventism is just some things turned up to 10. You know, other faiths have Sabbaths, right? Not we're the only ones properly keeping the commandment Sabbaths, but they have something sacred that sets them apart for whatever reason. You know, some churches don't have drums or instruments. Some churches are really committed to how short the hair on the men are or long the skirts on the women. And a lot of people treat their pastors the way Adventists treat our prophet, Ellen White. They won't call their pastors prophets, but they'll defend them like they're just as sacred. So I found that this honest, but critical lens that I've turned on my own experience was more fruit-bearing in people's inner lives than anything I ever did inside of the Adventist church. Whatever dial my spirit is tuned into, this is the frequency that's connected with other people. This is where a difference has been made. So in a way, I owe it to the next me, right? The next person at this intersection of faith and fear and honesty to make sure a book like this exists. So when they hit their time of trouble, there's something for them there, even if just a softer landing in case of emergency, break glass.